How's it going, everybody? This is Rob of Novakast, back with another video, and to an extent, I've been hearing a lot about this particular topic, and I wanted to, kind of try to understand, and I asked you guys to comment too what your thoughts are, because in this one, I don't know if I'm going to have my own conclusion of it, because at the very least, I'm going to try to be as neutral as I possibly can when it comes down to it. And I think, especially with a lot of people, and especially with this political climate now, that's the only way I can be. Even though even being neutral will determine whether or not I should be shunned. So, anyways, there's an individual by the name of Tyson who is, or at least, I don't know if they still are, or if they probably still are, part of the Mr. Beast crew, who recently decided to, transition. And to an extent, a lot of people are applauding this individual, claiming that this individual is brave for what they're doing, and as well as just trying to be themselves. Me, I'm one of those people, like, let live and let live. If you want to be, if you want to transition, go for it. That is your own prerogative. You are allowed to do that. And to an extent, be whoever you want to be. Now, in light of this stuff that's been going on, there has been some criticisms with this individual. One in particular, a lot of people have brought up the point that this individual has a wife and children, and to an extent, a lot of people are claiming that this individual is, somewhat selfish, considering the fact that, while being married, this individual is transitioning to become a woman, and to the extent may seem unfair, or if anything, difficult for a transition for not just them, but for their spouse as well as the child. Now, to the extent, when it comes down to that little tidbit, I wouldn't be surprised if it was discussed with Chris. I'm using the name that's been thrown around. I don't know the exact name of the individual that they're going by as they transition. If you guys have that name, or at least what they're planning to call themselves afterwards, please let me know. But ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if individuals like, or this individual in particular, had already spoken with it with their spouse, and to an extent had kind of prepared them for this transition, or this this change. And to the extent, yeah, I could see why it would be difficult, especially with, I would say, the mental gymnastics of your spouse who used to be a male, now transitioning to become a female, and then now wondering whether or not you are, in that situation of being attracted to the same sex. Which, again, mental gymnastics I can understand, and ultimately I can see the argument of what, like, why this would be a problem, and why a lot of people are claiming that this individual would be selfish, especially towards, again, their spouse and their children. Now, another thing that has been brought up by certain individuals is apparently very old posts on social media, which this is the part where I say that I'm not going to be impartial on, because to the extent where involving situations like, I don't want to compare this individual, but in situations like Jessica and Eve, where to the extent you have an individual who transitioned, but in reality, like, was very... I'm trying to refrain from using a particular word that starts with the letter P, but to the extent the individual, Jessica and Eve, was very creepy in terms of their situation with, trying to put certain salons out of business because they wouldn't wax their private parts, to setting up pool parties with young girls where the girls were or had to be topless, to a variety of other different things, which a lot of people questioned when it comes down to this individual, especially in another situation where this individual was also being creepy in bathrooms. Regardless of that, I'm bringing this up because there was a situation where in old posts, Tyson was bringing up, or at least was discussing, lollies. Now, for those in the anime community know what that is. That is animated characters that are children. And by the way, when it comes down to the post itself discussing lollies, it wasn't appropriate. So I can kind of see the concern there, especially when this individual has, children. Now, again, there's a good chance that this person isn't that way, and it could have been just a stupid joke, but regardless, it does bring up some concerns for certain individuals. Ultimately, for me, I'd like to see more of what goes on, or at least to the extent, like, do a follow-up of this to see, if any more things have occurred that caused, everybody to be concerned about it. But for now, like I said, I'm doing my best to try to stay neutral in this situation. When it comes to people transitioning, as I've said before, live and let live. Let the person be who they want to be. But to the extent, I will admit that certain behaviors that are mentioned do seem questionable, and to the greater degree deserve further investigation. But that's just me. With that, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you have any thoughts on this, please leave in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, check out our daily content, weekly podcasts, socials, as well as the Patreon, where we post our content early for you guys compared to YouTube, is in the description, as well as our socials. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys next video.